everyone, I just got done with my daily run and my legs hurt. So grab your foam roll, grab your stick. We're gonna roll out, we're not gonna stretch. I'm gonna take you through a routine that I like to do when I'm done with my daily run. So grab your stuff and let's roll.
Howdy, and welcome to the Bar SC Ranch, where you will experience our journey of running a family business, caring for animals, and doing life together. Subscribe now and be inspired here at the Bar SC.
All right, so let's get started with the stick. This is the tool that I like to use from knees to toes. So the most important would be your calf area, your shin muscle. And this tool here is gonna help us to soften up our calves and our shins, which mostly are gonna affect our feet. So if your feet are tired, if your Achilles tendon is bothering you at the back of your heel, that's gonna be off of your calf. If the top of your foot might be bothering you, or sometimes along the ridge of your shin bone. So when people talk about you having shin splints, that's really, again, just a byproduct of having really tight muscles. So we want to go through and spend some time just rolling out. We're going to start with the stick. We're going to start with our lower leg. All right, and this is just an up and down motion. All right, I'm going to do push in as much as I can handle. All right, I don't want to dig in with too much pressure and cause bruising. All right, but just enough to where I know I'm getting down into my muscle. I'm going to rotate back and forth. So I'm just rolling from just, if you're wearing, say, ankle socks, you're rolling from just above your sock line to just below your knee. We don't want to roll over the bone at all. So let's just do nice long strokes. And as we roll up to down, top to bottom, we're also going to start to rotate side to side. And this is where, on the outside of your calf, you're going to start finding muscles. So you'll see I'm going to switch. I always want to have my palms out so I can really get a lot of deep pressure into my muscles. But as I work the outside of my calf, this is where I'm going to start loosening up the muscles that really affect my Achilles tendon and even my heels. So if you've ever heard of Achilles tendonitis or plantar fasciitis, this is what you want to be doing often. All right, so as I'm rolling my calves, this is where if I start to feel trigger points, we call it, or a knot, right? If you start to feel one of those, you want to focus on that for 30 to 60 seconds and just focus on that one area. All right, back and forth, just rolling over that one knot. All right, giving it some extra pressure. As you apply that pressure, you're going to help soften up that myofascial tissue. So remember, as we roll, we're looking for knots. We're looking for what might feel like a little marble size clump of tissue. Sometimes they're bigger than that, but you'll oftentimes feel or hear a click when you're rolling over it. So we're looking for those, and when we find one of those, we want to focus on that. But even if we don't, just these nice long strokes are really going to help soften up the top layer of the muscle tissue. And we want to get our calves nice and soft and supple so that our heels, our ankles are in good shape. All right, the front of the shin. So that's about it. I just want to spend a couple of minutes. That feels good. So it's on the right side. Now let's switch to the left side. So again, hold the stick palms out so you can dig in. It's just as much pressure as you can handle. It should hurt a little bit, and that's okay. All right, when we roll out, we oftentimes grunt and moan and say, "Oh, it hurts so good." So feel free to do that right now. Oh, it hurts so good. All right, so long strokes, looking for those knots, looking for tight areas in our muscles. Sometimes you won't find them, but just in general, your muscle is really tight through and through. So even just long strokes. All right, so this rolling is oftentimes more effective than stretching because we are softening the muscle tissue, right? As we roll out, we're promoting blood flow throughout our muscles. All right, when your muscles when they don't get massaged, and if they're not getting worked because they're tight, then they're not getting blood flow. So we're promoting blood flow. We're breaking up that myofascial tissue. What the myofascial tissue does is it locks up our muscles so they can't constrict and contract and bear the load, and that load gets transferred down the line, and then we feel it at the joints. So we're breaking up the myofascial tissue, and we are actually elongating the muscle. So like a lump of dough in a rolling pin, if you go at it long enough, you will soften up and lengthen that muscle tissue. So that feels good. We're getting blood flow going. Sometimes your muscle will feel warm and tingly. All right, and that's really, the stick is really the best for knees to toes. Once you get from knees to hips, you get to your larger muscle groups. You've got your quads, your IT band, your inner thigh, your hamstrings. You really want to use the foam roll for that. So, what I like to do is just one leg at a time. So let's start on the right leg. Let's lay our foam roll down perpendicular to us. We're going to get down onto our elbows and our palms. So I'm going to be left palm down, right elbow down, left leg. I've got my knee and my toes, and I'm using my toes to help roll me back and forth. And on the right side, I'm keeping my leg as relaxed as possible. I'm letting my hips drop down into the foam roll. I'm letting as much as my body weight as I can apply pressure onto the foam roll, and I'm rolling. Now again, nice long rolling strokes from just above your knee, right? We don't want to roll out our kneecap to just right inside my hip. All right, so right now I'm starting on my IT band. All right, this is the seam of your jean. This is oftentimes the most painful. All right, so nice long strokes. Oh, there you go. So I found a spot that definitely makes me need a popsicle stick. Got to bite down on something. Remember, when you find these, you want to dig in for 30 to 60 seconds, hold it, roll through a little bit, and don't forget to breathe. In through your nose, out through your mouth, right? So nice long deep breaths as you find those trigger points. All right, now I'm just gonna rock my hips forward. Now I'm on my quads. All right, so I'm on the front here, and I'm again rolling just up into my hip. All right, and then down below my kneecap, or just above my kneecap. You'll find that the quads, just on the top side of the quads, just above your knee. If you're tight in there, and oftentimes you feel it just below your kneecap. So if you ever have experienced what is called patella tendonitis, then that oftentimes is due to the fact that your quads are tight. All right, and just above the knee is where you're going to feel that. All right, and then as you go a little bit higher up on your quads and you get closer to your hips, if your hips bother you, if you're climbing stairs, you're hiking, you're running uphill, if your hips are locked up on you, then again, you want to be on your quads, but just below your hips, and you can roll all the way up into your hip flexors. All right, so just back and forth, rolling through and through. Don't forget to breathe. And even just the slightest rotation of your hips, one way or another, is going to move the pressure point of the foam roll to a new spot. Oh man, on your quads, and there you go. I just found a zinger. So I sit on that for 60 seconds, 30 seconds, just a little bit. Sometimes you'll start feeling the tingling all the way down into your toes when you're on these trigger points. And you start to release those. All right. Back on through, nice long strokes. Except when you hit a hot spot, focus on that. So quads, IT band. Now I'm going to roll over. In this part, I've got to bring my leg all the way over. All right, because now I want to get, there, I should turn around. All right, I want to get on my hamstrings. So right side. All right, so again, I want to keep my, whatever leg I'm rolling, I want to keep that as relaxed as possible. I want to keep it up off the ground. All right, so I'm going to use my opposite leg, in this case it's the left leg, and use my arms, and I want to roll myself through. So Hamstring, you'll still find lower hamstring. You'll find issues behind your knee. The back of your knee is bothering you. You'll find trigger points sometimes behind the back side of your hamstring. But more so, the hamstring is connected to the glutes, which are connected to the lower back. All right, so as I get up to the upper section of my hamstring and into my glutes, that's where I'm really going to start to release pressure off of my pelvic girdle, right, off of my waist. So your lower back and your pelvic girdle are attached to your hamstrings and glutes as well. So getting all the way up into my glutes, if you've got lower back pain, which most people have or have experienced or you will have, this is where I'll spend most of my time if I have lower back pain. Is on my glutes, on my hamstrings, IT band as well. But man, when my lower back really starts to hurt and it's tight, as soon as I sit down and I get on my glutes for a little bit, I usually find something pretty quickly. Even if you're not hurting, you should still roll out. Rolling out is something that I want to do every time after I run, something you can do in the morning. This is really something that you can do. If you stretch on a regular basis and you don't roll, I would highly encourage you to roll on a regular basis. If you can roll without hurting at all, with no pain, then you're doing pretty well. But most people, when they get on the foam roll, they find that it hurts pretty good. All right, so I got all the way hamstrings into my glutes. This is helping my lower back, which feels good. All right, the last thing that we're going to do on the right side is my inner thigh. So this one's a little bit tricky. I'm going to stay in my position but turn my foam roll back to a perpendicular. I'm going to get my right leg over the top. I am going to try to drive down, so I'm going to pick my hips up and again put as much body weight as I can on my inner thigh, and I'm going to roll all the way through. So again, if the inside of your knee is bothering you, it's going to be due to the fact that your inner thigh is tight. All right, so this is really good. Inner thigh, or again, hip flexors. If your hip flexors are bothering you, all right, we're going to roll all the way through from knee to the groin. Nice long strokes. If you find a spot that's bothering you, I'm feeling it right there. I might spend an extra 30 seconds. Push down, roll through. All right, so keeping your muscles soft and supple is going to help keep your joints free to be able to move, to be able to flex and extend, right? Full mobility of your joints is really only allowed when you have full elasticity of your muscles. So, muscle elasticity and muscle health leads to joint elasticity and joint health. All right, so that was just the right side. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the left side. I'm going to start on my quad, so let's start on the front. Again, relax that left leg. Use the right to help move you through. I found a click. Let's sit on that for a minute and breathe. All right, just above your knee, all the way into your hip. All right, and then I'm going to do a quarter turn out to the outside. So now I'm on my IT band. Again, I'm planting my foot to help roll me through. Keep that left leg relaxed. Come all the way up to your hip, all the way down to your knee. Your IT band, like I said, can cause your lower back to be tight, cause your hips to pop on the outside if the outside of your hip is popping on you. And also really, really problematic for a lot of court sport athletes, a lot of runners, even just people in general, would be the IT band, the outside of your knee, right? Can be really painful. A lot of people just wrap it in KT tape, or they put a IT band strap around it to minimize the friction. but honestly, roll out your IT band, and that will help reduce the pain in your knee. Rolling out is the way to go. I wasn't as much of a believer in this until I started running 100 miles a week. So I'm going to get onto my hamstrings and my glutes. And the way I could run 100 miles a week and not get injured is because I basically stopped stretching and I started rolling. Rolling is really the trifecta approach. There's nothing wrong with stretching. But again, if you can't roll out pain-free, if you've got clicking in your knees, in your hips, if you've got some sort of itis, Achilles tendonitis, patella tendonitis, IT band itis, everything seems to be an itis, then you need to roll out. You don't need KT tape, you don't need bands and straps, you don't need ice and rest, you don't need cortisone shots. I promise you, all you need to do is spend the 35 or 40 bucks to buy your trigger point foam roll at least once a day, if not twice a day. Roll out through and through, from hips to knees, knees to toes. It's always your pain point and the problem and the cause, or the cause and the symptom, are always really closely related. So again, if your Achilles is bothering you, then it's something in your calf. If your knee's bothering you, it's something going on right in the quad. And then I ended up running 63 marathons in 63 days from LA to New York. I never stretched. I rolled out multiple times a day, every day. I ran a marathon a day for 2 months and never got injured. And I ran and finished stronger than when I started. So this stuff works. This stuff works for sure. All right, last one. We're going to do the inner thigh on the left side. So again, lay across your body. Put all your weight down. Pushing from knees to hip. Again, nice long strokes. Finding those tight spots. Don't spend too long, just long enough to break up that tissue and get that blood flowing again. It feels good. Again, you'll start to recognize good pain from bad pain. You'll recognize that rolling out, though it hurts, it's a good pain because you're getting healthier, right? And you're breaking up all that myofascial tissue. So, I hope this was helpful. Just taking you through a rolling routine, something that I like to do after a good workout. Sometimes it's what I do when I wake up or before I go to bed, just because I'm stiff and my legs hurt. So, you can do it really anytime. Just a couple of tools, maybe a yoga mat. Not much you need, you can take it anywhere, but incredibly useful, and it can help you avoid just a long road to injury recovery, and it can keep you active and keep you running and keep you moving. So, happy rolling. Let me know, leave a comment down below. If you've got questions, I'm happy to answer those in the comment section. Let me know, but otherwise, keep on rolling, and we'll see you down the road.
If you enjoyed this video, we'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe and leave comments about what you might like to see in future videos. We'll see ya back on the ranch.